right, this is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, here on the case for truth and justice, with the right information to help improve the situation. We're going to celebrate my birthday yesterday, today, tomorrow.
Yes, happy birthday, happy 80th.
I have
That's a big deal.
Miss Malibu in here today. She is going to co-host and all of that, and I'm going to set her up here because it's important, folks, that we realize that every moment that we spend is an investment into the future. So we're either investing something to build or something to destroy. And there are many of us who are subject to the sensitivity to understand that it ain't just gonna be a jelly roll. We have to deal with the truth, the issues as they be, and allow the poet to speak. It's time. It's time for us.
Yes.
Time for us to be on time for a change.
Yes.
For a change is imminent. Yes, my sisters and brothers, it's time to love your brother for something other than what he can do for you. It's time for us to make our master wish come true. It's time for us to stand up straight, give a hand, or whatever it may take to free our fellow man. It's much too late to cry, for we've all seen too many loved ones die.
Yes.
Now get on up and let's get down. It's time for us to change the expression on the face of this here clown. It's time to change this mutation that has become the face of our nation. And we are the perfect ones for the alteration.
Yes.
And how do you do that, folks? You can't sit around and whine and cry just because it's not going your way. We've spent years looking at it go the other way. So today I have someone with me, with us, that is doing something no matter where you are in this great nation of ours. You can do the same thing because it all emanates from love and concern.
Yes.
So Miss Malibu has been an activist in a city that she has adopted.
Yes.
And many of you have adopted cities. Many of you have simply decided to adopt situations to do something, to make something happen, to change the world. Nothing that you do isn't going to affect changing the world. You just may not be changing it to the better. You may simply allow it to change for the worse because you didn't know what to do. Well, that's what we're here to tell you, folks. There is something you can do, and it's not going to be that difficult. It's something that you can handle. Miss Malibu, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
God is great. I'm extremely grateful.
Yes. Happy 80th birthday to you once again. Like, I'm excited and so inspired by you. Just know that.
Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. But you know what's important is what that inspiration evolves into doing.
Yes.
Some people can be inspired and sit around and clap and say, "Oh, the old man, he's really wise. He's talking some good stuff."
Right.
But what you do with that inspiration is really why you're here today.
Yes.
Because with or without my inspiration, you're doing things to help make this a better nation. Boy,
yes.
Listen how I said that. So let's talk about who you are
okay.
and what you're doing. And today is important because we're bringing you in to discuss not you,
yes,
but the things that you do to make this a better place. So you've brought us
Thank
a guest. We're talking about superheroes. We're talking about building the platform for our children.
Yes, literacy.
Yeah, and at my point in life, I'm able to see that there are many others at my point in life who have to go and I had a person tell me yesterday, my grandbabies, they don't, they just don't respect me. I said, really?
Wow.
How did that happen?
Right. How did that happen?
I don't know, because I told their daddy to straighten them out.
Oh.
You did? You couldn't just talk to them?
Yes.
Well, they don't talk to me right. I said, well, maybe they're simply responding how they've been talked to.
Yes, the connection is broken.
Yes, and well, I don't know. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I got 11 grandbabies.
Wow.
Really good. What's their names?
No connection.
Well, no, I mean, there's a connection. It's just a bad one. So I like some of the,
Yes.
and we're used to that. But the point I want to make is you're going to get what you give. Mm-hmm. And
I agree.
You give love, you give concern, and you'll get that back. And that, once again, my point in life, we want to feel some security from what we see growing up around us.
Yes.
And if you haven't planted what you want to have, you're going to have what you don't want.
Yes, I agree.
And so I think the brilliance of our guest today
Yes, that book is powerful.
is really critical because he's talking to the seeds. He's
Yes.
And allow you to introduce Miss Malibu, our co-host for today. Carry on.
Hello, hello. How's everybody doing out there? I just wanted to, this year, to make a different type of impact. A lot of people are really complaining about what's going on in our country as a whole, as well as our city. You know, I'm at the city meetings, at the board meetings, everywhere trying to do my part. And so when I say do my part, that means education, that means gathering, that means uniting, that also means holding each other accountable. All too often, we just, push kids along, and we get the results that we put out. And so my mom was born in Jersey. I was born in Jersey. Her mother was born in North Carolina. So she was the first generation to move to California when I was 7. And during that time, I couldn't stand being away from all of my family. And I was like, gosh, and now I feel like it was the best thing my mom could ever did. Her 5 kids are educated. They are homeowners. They are, business people. They are leaders in the community. And that's because she got us out of that environment and put us into another environment. She planted a seed in California that in me and her kids, and it blossomed into this community. So every year I'm looking to change. So we started the gang intervention program in 2019. We've had dads and dogs. Now we're doing dads and books. And so we did the dads and give back in the projects. And so as a teacher by profession with the City of San Bernardino School District here, I've taken a break and really gotten to the community. But looking to go back to the school district, I said, let me see what kind of impact I want to make this year. And when I pulled the rates in the statistics for black and brown kids in the city of San Bernardino, it was 68% of the kids was illiterate. And I said, they say that the most people that was not educated voted for Trump. So I'm thinking forward and saying, well, let me get these kids educated now. And so when we get ready to go back into this voting, regardless of whoever they vote for, I want them to vote. I want them to vote with education. I want them to vote with a purpose and not just say, oh, I'm not going to vote or not stumble in there. So I kept wanting to do this literacy program. Liddy Gutfield, the Parks and Recs director that used to be here at the City of San Bernardino, she wanted me to start a women's program. So we started the women's program, Million Morning Women, last year. And so this year I said, you know what? I want to start the literacy program.
Now, you kind of went fast on that. What
Okay.
kind of program for the women that was?
A Million Morning Women. So we create safe spaces for women who have mental health issues in the city of San Bernardino due to gang violence.
Morning.
Morning, yes.
Women
Not
eat-
in the morning time, but morning.
Well,
yes.
and unfortunately, when you're mourning, it doesn't stop in the morning. It continues
Correct.
all day. So
Yes.
I wanted to clarify that. So this is considering our health, our mental health.
Yes,
And
yes.
the fact that it is not something you just get rid of because you want to be rid of it. Well, I don't want to think about that. It's not like that. So
Right,
we
right,
have-
right.
We have these hooks, and they just hang on our mental wall.
Yeah, and so I started having some mental health issues when I was, after I lost my mom in 2020. And I always knew about mental health. You know, you could maybe have an accident, you could be born with it, but I really didn't understand that you could lose somebody and grieve so hard that it can send you into a depression or have mental health issues. I've always considered myself to be a strong individual, a strong woman, and I felt so helpless and so weak when my mom passed away. I didn't know, I couldn't, COVID was here, it was 2020, COVID was here, the school was closed, and it was just a lot going on, and I had a hard time with mental health, and God set me there to remove me into that women's program. And so I'm very thankful for that program. We have 20 women. We made graduation. We had someone go to rehab. We had someone get their health together. Just pouring into yourself is what the program is about. And through them pouring into their self as well as the community, they blossomed. They blossomed.
So that's a good support program. And once again,
Yes.
that was a program born out of the need, but recognizing the need. And the solution pretty much was just coming together,
Yes.
discussing and talking with each other. I don't know what kind of health officials or counselors you brought in. Did you do that type
Yes,
of
yes,
thing?
we did. So we partnered with the Behavioral Health of San Bernardino, and we did some mental health classes. We also did a fentanyl class because that's really affecting our community. I know back in the day it was like, oh, people did, they considered themselves to be hippies, so to speak, and that's kind of what they did. Now it's so much powerful drugs out there. Our community is bombarded with a lot of overdoses.
Yeah, well, we are a society that self-medicates. The issue
Yes.
is some people go past the real medicine looking for some type of pill or shelf. But if you wake up in the morning and you go out and you get your breath of that good fresh air,
Yes.
and you are able to, if you're blessed to have a moment to go spend some time with nature, to see what God has done every day as opposed to what man has tried to do to you, that opens up an entirely different door. But our mental health is something all the time.
Yes.
It's not,
Yes.
It's not an occasional thing. It's an all the time thing. So
And our community has a stigma on mental health. We were raised, don't take our business out the house. Don't tell nobody my business. What goes on in this house stays in this house. You're gonna be fine. You're okay. Go on. No time for tears.
Well,
And that's did us a disfavor in our community.
it did us a disfavor,
Yeah.
but it also was a result of the fact that when you leave the house, you're not walking into a friendly environment.
No safe
You're-
spaces.
You're walking into an environment that for 400 years has stifled your creativity, stifled your culture, made you
Yes.
feel as much as possible like a third, fourth class citizen, or like you were invisible. So to protect our strength of home, we often had to act like we didn't have that when we got in the street.
Yes.
So that dual personality requirement, as when you're in a society that you, like you say, you have to seek your safe spaces.
Yes.
And
create them.
and folks, that's where we are now. We see the kind of programs that we've been depending on or utilizing to help make the kind of change that is going to give us balance and equality and access and make the world a better place. Those things are being challenged.
Yes.
Right
Yes.
now, the
Right now.
entire American concept
System.
of who we are and what we do is being thrown into chaos.
Yes.
And how that comes out, once again, that's my purpose today with Miss Malibu, is to point out that what she's doing here is not impossible for you to do where you do. And
Correct.
it's based on concern and love. Gathering those women, it's in 2025, she didn't try to save the whole world.
Right.
Just the people who were concerned and willing to participate.
Yes.
And that's what you can do. I don't care where in the country you are.
Yep.
You have
Gather.
a means of doing that. You can start in your church. You can start in your neighborhood. And it's simple. It's very simple. We all like to eat. We all like, there are ways for us to gather
Yes.
and show love for each other.
Yes.
And we don't have to say it's about mental health. We can just know that when we gather with
Yes.
love and have that same old affection of reunion,
Yes. Yes.
that it's going to do some good. So I don't have to say, hey, folks, let's gather in a reunion so I can make you feel healthier
Yes.
in your mind.
They won't come.
Yeah, just do it. Just
You
do
just
it.
gotta do it.
But brag about that chicken and that pie and that,
Yes.
and the little music and entertainment and things of that sort, and they will come.
They will come. So we do that on Thursdays at Delman Heights in San Bernardino. And on Tuesdays, I volunteer at a Coma Unity Center on California.
Excellent.
For Golden Age. It's called the Golden Age Group, and the women are like 60 and over. They're predominantly black women, and they came together to just fellowship. Every Tuesday they meet, they bring food, they talk about politics, they talk about health, they talk about walking, they talk about loving on each other. And we even talked about the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. They are so woke.
Yes, well,
and these women. I was like, wow. So
you shouldn't
I,
be out in the streets asleep.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to be woke. And it's brother was telling me last night again. Same one said. Well, I said, well, what is woke? She's trying to make derogatory out of being woke. So, well, what does woke mean? And he came up with some vague thing, and I said, and then I asked him, well, what is the sleep? He said, well, sleep is when you ain't woke no more. I said, now we're telling the truth.
Now you're getting somewhere, huh? Had to drag it out of him.
Yeah, but that's the point. It's really simple. Let's not make it complicated. Love is available right inside of you, and all you got to do is cut a little slice out and give it to somebody else. It won't do a lot of good, just stacking it up. We see somebody who loves himself every day. He's captured the newspapers. We are able to witness someone who is just really crazy in love with themselves and don't care about nobody else. And that's a model. Very much a model to let us know that, well, that's not where we want to go. But let me get you to understand. My daughter told me yesterday at the birthday party, told everybody that was there, that when you start talking too much, we call it Wallacing. So I'm going to back up from doing too much Wallacing. So
I love that you're keeping the conversation going, though. So we got the women's program. We got the men going. We got the women going. And so this year I wanted to focus more back on my profession, even though I'm doing it in the community, which was literacy. And so my first project is going to be March 29th at Feldman Library on 6th Street in the city of San Bernardino. And my first featured author is Yuri Williams. And you guys can go on Amazon and purchase his book. You also can go to Knock It Off Youth Foundation and make a donation and come to us, and he'll sign your book. You get a picture, you get a cape, you get a pink lizard, we get a lunch. A few things.
Wait a minute. Most people don't want lizards. Now,
it's a fake lizard. It's a fake lizard.
A real lizard. And a pink lizard.
Pink.
A pink lizard is, that's a toxic color. And so, this is a very cute lizard.
Yes. It's just something to go with our theme.
Introduce your author and let's know a little bit about this book before we try to sell it.
Okay. So Yuri, I met Yuri. Following him online and like just amazed at what he was doing in the community during Christmas time, going to all the states and giving out toys to different kids and different adults for different reasons. And then I had the opportunity to actually meet him in person in November. At Creative Soul. Creative Soul, shout out to Sam over at Creative Soul. He's purchased some custom bags for the kids to put the book in. My logo's on there, your logo's on there, Creative Soul's logo's on there. Sam is always down to do whatever. You call Sam, come on, let's do it. So I shout out to Sam. He's a big sponsor and supporter of my women's program. He's giving them shoes and clothes and different things like that. So I'm thankful to Sam for what he does for me, but also getting us together on a good space, and so that we can build our relationship. And now I feel like I've known you for years now, but it hasn't been that long. But I feel like I've known you for years.
It has been. Shout out Sam. I've known Sam probably about 30 years. He's a good guy.
Yes.
He's got our back. So.
Yeah. So what inspired you to write this book?
Let me get to my mom thing.
Okay.
She was my rock. She was everything, just like I'm sure your mom was to you.
Yes. Shout out to my mama.
After her passing, I fell into, like you said, a 5-year depression period. I was like normal like this and go home and be crying for no reason.
Yes.
You hear an old song or something like that, and I was in this depression mode for like 5 years. So one day I'm just sitting there in the bed numb, and there's times where I feel like my body is coming out of, my soul is coming out of my body.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can't keep living life like this, So
accountability.
I got up. My coworkers had already donated like 400 hours for me to get back right. They know how close me and my mom were. She was a probation officer, and I work in corrections
Yes.
in Orange County. So they gave me those 400 hours. I'll never forget. I'm very thankful for that because it helped me heal. So upon returning to work, you know, I park in my same spot that I usually do. And for some reason, I just started crying, you know, because this was my first day back, you know, and I called her every morning like.
The mornings is the roughest for me too.
Yeah, 5:45. I wake her up so she could get up and do her thing or whatever. So I pick up the phone, a call, and it goes to voicemail, and then it just hit me like, dang, you know, this is going to be an everyday thing. So
Yeah.
called the job, told them to give me an hour to get myself together. I'm sitting there, you know, crying, wiping the tears off, and for some strange reason, I don't know why I did it, but I did. I picked up the phone, and I created an Instagram account, which sounds dumb. You know, why are you doing that? But it happened.
God, you gotta be a follower of God sometimes.
Yeah, something happened.
Obedient.
So I picked the phone up, I open up the thing. I started.
20,000 followers. Y'all go follow him on Instagram. Hold on, Yuri. I'm sorry. Go follow Yuri Wims on Instagram. He has 20,000 plus followers, and he's been on every newscast, news show, everything. But go ahead. Sorry to interrupt. Go follow him.
So yeah, give me a follow, please, and help us out, both me and Malibu.
Yes.
So I create this account, and Officer Tommy Norman from North Little Rock, Arkansas, pops up. Great officer. He was doing a similar act that I was doing, and you know, something positive. So I followed him, laughing and you know, giggling at all the posts. So let's keep scrolling. Next person that pops up is Hip Hop Trooper on the Explorer page. He dresses up as a red stormtrooper, and I love Star Wars ever since I was a kid. So I followed him and got to meet him a couple times, and we became brothers. Same as Officer Tommy Norman. So you know, full circle around. Months later, Rodney Smith Jr., I love that guy to death, pops up on with Officer Norman. And what he does is he mows lawns free for veterans,
Oh, wow.
disabled, low-income families, and mothers.
Wow.
So he's been around the United States 18 times.
Wow.
Just doing mowing lawns for free for those poor people. That's all he does. Like right now, I guarantee you log on this page, he's mowing somebody's lawn
Go
every
follow
day.
him, y'all.
Yeah, Rodney Smith Jr. every day. That's all he does is mow lawns for free. Which, if you know, it sounds weird until you see what he's doing and making an impact.
It's a passion, yeah.
So I saw him with Norman. I said, I kept bugging him, sending him DMs. I said, hey, bro, when you come to California, I want to link up with you. So he's out in California. It might have been out this way, matter of fact, San Bernardino. So we met up for lunch, which he was like, man, why you kept bugging me for lunch? And da-da-da. I said, look, bro, I'm going through like a depression right now. I know you don't know me. I'm not a killer or nothing like that, but I need to go on one of these ventures with you because it's just amazing to see how these different states look.
Right.
So 2017, I believe, I went on my first 50-state tour, and I've done it 5.5 times. I didn't finish last year because I ran out of money.
Did you start with the toys? Or did you just start it with him?
No, I started on my own.
2017. So you just was going around with no toys at that time?
Yeah, at that time,
Okay.
it was 2019 after Mom passed, and I'm out in Skid Row. That's where I actually started.
Did you help him mow lawns?
Nah,
What was
nah,
it?
I don't fool around
What
with
was
that,
your
man.
What was your tour? What were
So-
you doing on the tour with him across this 50 states?
So while he was mowing the lawns, I was visiting children with special needs, disabilities, life-threatening illnesses, and autistic children and special needs, and you know all of the realm of that. So while he's doing that, I'm at somebody's home visiting a sick child or at a hospital, and you know we're both doing impactful things at the same time.
Okay, so we skipped it. We skipped a very important beat. One from where you were crying and opening up an Instagram account, not knowing what to do, and somehow meeting people on Instagram inspired you to realize that there were people who were having a sadness that was probably prompted by something that was not based on love, like your mourning was. So, what made you decide to go and get involved with people who you were able to see were less fortunate than you?
You know, my mom I'm from South Central LA, and during the 80s, you know, the gangs were real active out there, Bloods and Crips, Hispanic gangs, and my mom always kept me away from that. Even though I did, I hung with the homies, and you realize that's not for me, And I had a couple of OG gangsters tell me like, this not for you, bro. Your mom is there for you. I see something in you, and thank God that I listened to them. I probably wouldn't be here today.
But did you say something about Skid Row?
Yeah, that's where I started out there in Skid Row because, like during the '80s, it wasn't that many houseless individuals like you see now. Like the mental institutions down there, I guess they shut down and whatnot during Reagan time, and then that's when you just start to see how bad it's become.
What made you go and do that?
My mom.
There was. I understand. Mom taught you, and mom.
I'm gonna tell you.
She planted the seed.
She planted some seeds, but the one that grew and that you nourished and embraced had you decide. You did just one day bump into.
Right.
You decided
Right.
to go and help people who were having mental issues.
Yeah.
Do you remember what made that so much a passionate lane for you to get in?
At the time, we stayed in an apartment on 27th Street in Adams, in the Crenshaw area, and I'll never forget our neighbor. She made her husband get out, and we saw him at the grocery store asking for money. I remember Mom gave him $20, and that might have been her last $20 or something that she had in her pocket. And
Sound like my mama.
I'll never forget that, and that stuck with me. And I asked her when we got in the car, I said, "Why did you do that?" She said, "Because you don't know where he's going to be tonight. You don't know if he's going to be able to eat. At least we gave him something to survive till tomorrow." You know what I'm saying? And that, I was like 8 or 10, and that stuck with me. And that's why I ventured out to Skid Row, because I saw my neighbors that needed something. And I consider a houseless person my brother or sister. I don't even know them, but that's my neighbor too. So that's why I decided to go down there in a superhero costume, like a Spider-Man costume, which sounds crazy and weird, but
See, the story gets deeper. I was ready to let that pass and we keep on going. But there was a activity. There's something. You made a decision. You backed it. You didn't just on your way down to Skid Row say, "Oh, let me grab a superhero uniform." You plotted and planned and created, and did you do that sitting down remembering Mom? Did you sit down and do that because you admired and maybe were a superhero fan when you came up?
Yeah.
I know that for a long time I definitely wanted to be Superman and wondered where he was when I saw some of the crazy stuff going on. Where the heck is Superman? He needs to show up. So you made a conscious, and I'm going here because people listening need to understand that they have within them something that will convert that wasted energy, that feeling of helplessness into one of strength and hope that can drive and create inspiration and activity in other people. And you keep bumping across it like, you can go to the store, and when you walk out the store, you're going to be a superhero. That ain't the way it is.
Not quite.
No, you made, and you remembered some other things specific, so forgive me for asking you to use your memory again. And what made you put that plan together? How did you plan it? What was that first trip like? The first time you put the suit on, the first time you conceived what kind of suit? I mean, Spider-Man, cool. Why not Superman? Why not Batman? Why not anybody? Go ahead.
Well, again, my mom was a correction officer at the time.
Now, Mom was passed. Mom had passed. I'm telling you that you did not start doing this from what you told me.
I'm going to tell you.
Until Mom passed, you had 5 years of depression. You were sitting in the car whining and crying, trying to figure out what to do. Somehow all of that came together, and the next thing you told me was you got a Spider-Man suit on, and you going down to help somebody. I'm telling you that whatever happened from the time you cried in the car
I'm gonna take you
move
back.
to that.
I'm going to take you back.
We know that.
Take us back.
Okay.
So my mom was a correction officer in L.A. County, and she wouldn't let me stay with anybody. That's how she was. So there was times when she couldn't find a babysitter, and I had to go to work with her and sit just like my daughter is over there. So what happened is these parents come and bring toys in, and you're not allowed to bring contraband or stuff like that in because the kids will use it for something else. So my mom would tell them, like, you can't leave the toy here, but they insisted on leaving the toys there. So I would get these toys and play with them. And one weekend I got the Spider-Man toy, and that's when I just fell in love with Spider-Man. I started collecting Spider-Man comic books, and now we get to the point where it's like channeling back into your inner childhood, you know. And when I used to stay at home by myself, when I wasn't there, like LeVar Burton, I love that guy to death. I hope I could meet him one day. He was my uncle when my mom was gone.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm watching him on TV, and this is how this book came into what it is today because of him. You know, I'm reading all these different books and watching Reading Rainbow, you know, Sesame Street, and learning, and you know, just I like to read now thanks to him. It was a time when I was younger, I never watched that, I wouldn't like to read, but something about what LeVar did on that show, you know, transformed me into reading, and I wrote this book, and you know, I'm thanking him for, you know, encouraging me and impacting me to read. And this is what we plan on doing: is to teach this community that is that don't like to read to learn how to read. You know, so
One superhero at a time.
right. So this suit thing, I went to Instagram again. I created a GoFundMe, and I asked people to donate. Which at the time I'm thinking like nobody's gonna help me. You know.
So this is okay. That's a crack.
Yeah.
Into this. So what did the GoFundMe say? How? What did you want people to go fund you to do?
To get screen accurate costumes. I didn't want these Toys R Us or you know these generic.
Okay,
looking
so
costumes.
you had decided at that point you were going to dress up as Spider-Man
Yeah.
and do what?
And go visit the houseless community.
So were you still on the road at this time? Were you? So
This wasn't even. This
So
is
you weren't on the
2009.
road.
No, I didn't even know Rodney. I didn't know none of
okay,
that.
Right,
Okay,
right,
That was
right.
the seed that
Yeah.
was just sitting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know, I'm doing this stuff 2009 to 2017, where you know I hadn't even thought about doing any of that. So 2009, I'm out here helping the houseless community. Then I said, I went to this children's walk, Miller's Hospital in Long
And
Beach.
Mom was alive at this time.
No, she had passed away in
Okay,
2009. So during this time, this is when I got the donations from everybody, and
For just the costumes at that time.
just for the
Okay.
costume at this time. So I'm thinking that costume was probably like $2,500, but I mean it looks just like the Spider-Man one you see in the movie. So I put it on. You know, I didn't read the instructions where you had to put some dishwashing soap on the eye lenses, right? So I put the suit on and I can't see. So I'm walking around this children's cancer walk in Long Beach. You know, a friend of mine's with me, telling me to turn this way, turn that way, take a picture, put the Superman stuff, the Spider-Man signal up for the kids, take a picture. And it's like 100 degrees out there. You know, I'm burning up, and I'm still out there because this is what the kids need. Because these kids, I don't know if you're familiar with kids with DIPG, they have a very low percentage rate of going past, I believe, 8 to 10 years old, so their life expectancy is not that long. So my job, regardless of how hot it is to give them entertainment for that time being that I'm there. So I hit the corner. We've taken pictures with everybody, and you know, she asked me, "Do you sure you want to finish this because it's hot?" I'm like, "Nah, this is why I'm here." So I get to this family, the Anzuris family, Diego Anzuris, and he's in a wheelchair, and his face just lights up. You can see it. I could see it from inside, like right here. I could see it.
As bad as those goggles were, you can still
I can
see
see
the
him,
impact. Perfect.
and I'm smiling in there, and I'm sweating, and then I see that big smile, and I feel tears coming down, and I walk up to him, and he said, "You're my favorite superhero," and then, you know, here it comes again, the shower of sweat, eye sweat.
Yeah, I
know.
say my mom's memories just be sneaking down my cheeks.
Yeah, I told Dwayne and Strahan, this is eye sweat when it comes down. So I'm there, you know, I talk to him, and he says he has a birthday coming up, and I'm like, boom, no problem, I'm gonna be there for your birthday. So I'm there for his birthday in the costume, all his family. Then I won some tickets from ABC to go to a Marvel show, and the first person I thought about was their family.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So we went and had dinner, my daughter, him, and their family, and then we went to the Marvel show. He saw the show. He got his picture up on the big screen and all that type of stuff. So then there comes a time I did another GoFundMe asking the community with special needs, disabilities, and, you know, children battling life-threatening illnesses if they wanted to see Spider-Man that just came out. So we bought the whole theater out for his
Oh,
family
wow.
and all other kids that were battling inside the hospital.
Nice.
So Diego passes away, and you know, I went to visit him at the hospital a couple of times every weekend that I could when I'm off, and he passes away. And you know, I told his parents, like, people were there for me when my mom passed away, so I'm gonna be here for you guys, you know. And this is how I keep other people's name alive, is to continue by doing the work.
Yes.
You know, I carry Diego and all the children that have passed away. Recently, you know, I've had like about 6 or 7 kids just pass away.
Ooh.
You know, a couple that were in our documentary movie pass away, and it just hits you. And
Hardest part about the job.
yeah, is that part, you know. And
But you know that part is not an exclusive part.
right,
We all have people that we lose. We go to funerals, and I've said it before, but it's so timely to say it again, is that often at these blessings of transition, people will say, well, I'm here for you. Call me when you need me. Call me if you need me. You didn't wait for someone to call you. You knew they needed you
Right.
because your experience says, I needed someone, and you know they need you.
Right.
And all of that, again, to say your superhero inside of you
Yes.
can be brought out by making a phone call or making that visit to that person that you know. You know that they need that support. You know from the time when you said, I'm gonna or I am, they need that, and they're not gonna ask for it.
yeah,
You have it. You have the ability to turn their life around, or at least turn their day around.
Right.
And that is, as a superhero, are you satisfied with your first move or your last move, or are you going to keep on doing it?
there was a point where I was at work and I said a prayer to God, and I asked him, if you want me to do this work, I need your help. Like, you know, these toys aren't free. These costumes not free. You know, everything costs money, you know, and I tell people, if you want to start a nonprofit, don't think that it's going to rain money on you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's the let me pause
Yeah.
let me pause you right there really fast. So I want to pause really fast right there. So a lot of people often ask me, how do I start a nonprofit? How do I start a nonprofit? How do you get money? I don't get money.
Right.
Every here and there, I get a little money. People think that the city gives me, the city doesn't give me anything. I partner with the city on some different things, but they don't give me checks to run my women's program or to
Right.
do any of those things. I do it because I love to.
Right.
And so I know, I just want to fast forward you just a little bit. This year, you weren't able to complete your mission with going to all the states because you ran out of money.
Right.
And so we both need money, but I want to give you a minute to talk about how they can find you, how they can send you money, how they can help, and so that way you can continue. When December comes again, you can hit all the states.
Yeah.
And you can, get the Spider-Man with the good eyes in him. And so you can. So how do people donate to you? How does that work?
Yes, you can visit the website, www.afuturesuperhero.org. And I tell people all the time, please go through the page, go through the little things so you can see what I've done over. I'm not bragging or boasting about it, but I just want people to see what I've done since 2009. You know, I'm not the biggest nonprofit. I make it look like $1 million, but it's probably costs about $5,000 to put together. You know, but I want people to see the impact that I'm making, and just know, if you work at a company that gives out grants, can you please send them my way, because
Yes.
I will make sure that the funding is put to use. You know,
Right.
you can go through my Instagram and see how many people I've impacted. Over 20,000 people. I would say 10,000 by myself, you know, and then with the help of my volunteers or whatnot, you know, we put a dent in, or a bandage over the problems that,
What do your volunteers do?
they just do the same thing I do. They don't wear the costume. You know, I can't get
Right.
any other clowns but me to wear the costume. So, you know,
Have you approached the Spider-Man people at all? Because you
Marvel.
have you approached Marvel at all? Because you are adding to the imagery that I would expect they would love to have, but
Yeah.
then again, you get too close to them, they may want to charge you for licensing. I
Exactly.
don't know, but that's something to be
Yeah.
concerned about. And
I was gonna this documentary that we did. I actually used. You see, that's me with that's one of Marvel's characters. But I don't know if I'm gonna approach them and see if they would be interested in the documentary because it's something different. I'm probably the only person in the world that has been around, like I say, 5.5 times in different superhero costumes. Nobody that I know has done that but me.
And, you say different superhero costumes. Have you been as someone other than Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, Spider-Man, Deadpool, Sandalorian, Scout Trooper, and then Miles Morales, which is a different version of Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh! Do not tell my grandson you have Miles Morales.
My goodness,
Yeah.
that's
Oh
see,
my
that's
gosh, that's my
very
grandson's
proper.
favorite.
Yeah.
Shout out to my grandson Avon. He's something different.
So, your book. Now, how does that? I mean, the fact that you've written a book, a children's book, is very critical and important to me as a grandfather and father and a community person who wants to be supporting educated children.
Yes.
Bring that in. We're in the quickest hour on radio. And
Yes, that's
we
all
need
right.
to-
We
don't
get
want to.
there.
We don't want to miss that point. So go ahead.
So I want to say something about the book. With the literacy program that we're doing, it's an experience. So all of it brings fun to reading. So he's going to come out in his costume. All the kids that come out on March 29th, y'all go register, Knock It Off Youth Foundation at gmail.com. All the kids that it was originally 100, and then went to 150 kids. So 100 of the kids between the ages of 4 and 8 will come out and get a picture, a signed book, a cape, a lunch, and some other goodies in a backpack or a bag. The kids that are 8 and 9 and to 15 will get a free book from Making Hope Happen. Shout out to Making Hope Happen. They're going to come out with some free books and some free resources as well. But I just when he told me, like, I'm doing the book, he told me that in October, right? I said, hey, I want to drop this literacy program. When you get that book, you call me. We're going to drop the book and we're going to run it. So y'all, call me. Get in touch with me. My number is 909-380-9289. We can come to your school. We can come to your church. We can come to your community center. We can come to your home if you make it worth our while.
And worth our while certainly means getting the neighborhood kids.
Yeah, getting the books to getting the kids together for us to read to and create a reading experience. As you talked about, and we both are on the same pages. When the money comes into my organization, it all goes back out. I don't hold it. I don't get administrative fees. 100% of the money goes right back out to. So the $25, the book is on Amazon for $15. The cape is $10. But so for $25, we're still giving you the lunch and giving you a bag. And so no one's keeping any money. I'm not making any money off of this at all. I just partnered with him because I want to get kids reading and making it fun again. So for me, it's not about money. For him, it's not about the money because you can just see where the money is. There's no extra money that we're going to make and get to put in our pocket. I don't want to put any money in my pocket. I want kids to get excited about reading. I want adults to get excited about reading. I want the older kids to get excited about reading. We have to read to achieve. There is a direct correlation between gangs and kids that cannot read, a direct correlation between jail, people going to prison and committing felonies, and violence in kids that cannot read.
People who read are on their way to being able to think logically.
Yes.
Not to be subject to the whims and manipulations of cult leaders.
Yes.
People who are wanting to manipulate you to their benefit. And remember, it's time to love our brother for something other than what he can do for you. So you guys are saying, they're not doing this for the money, but that doesn't mean it doesn't cost money.
Right. We still need it.
We experienced on Friday a so-called national movement to boycott the things and the stores that are not friendly to our community, friendly to our morals, friendly to our future. I'm one of the people that says, yes, I don't think you should support things that are not good for you. But the converse of that is, I think you need to support things that are good for you.
Yes.
So we all have things that we do that, you know, are friends that are good, you know, and that you indulge yourself on.
Yes.
We can call it a sacrifice to say, well, snatch 25, 30 bucks out of that and support this organization. Or we could say, invest. When you are concerned about the future of yourself and your kids and the folks in the world around you,
Yes.
you need to make that investment.
Yes.
And that investment is pretty simple when we have people like Yuri and people like Malibu who are doing things that are easy for us to support. San Bernardino libraries are being threatened all across
Yes.
the country.
Yes. Go visit
The
library.
downtown Feldheim Library is the site of this March 29th activity.
Yes.
So shout out to them.
Yes.
But
Feldman
the
Library.
library is a perfect place
Yes.
to come and support as we do this literary program.
Right.
It's not something that we should ignore or forget.
Right.
And it's not something that you can't do, even if there's no library,
Yes.
as you stated.
A park.
You could do this at the house. This
home.
is a good party atmosphere.
Yes.
I would suggest, and I'm sure you've got business sponsors, people who are able to support you to some extent. Allow businesses and community people to buy books for children that are
Yes.
not theirs.
Yes.
We need there are community kids. We're all subject to their actions and activities.
Yes.
Invest into that. So,
Invest in them now or pay for it later.
Right.
yes, right. So again, how can people, and I'm old school phone numbers.
Okay.
As it's
So
just a little easier.
my Zelle is 909-380-9289, and it's also the email knock it off youthfoundation@gmail.com. I just wanted to say something really, really fast though about all of this, tying it all in. I was interviewing Kim Calvin a couple of days ago for Sisters Mentally Mobilized, a training that I'm in where sisters gather together to get mentally mobilized. And one of the most important things that she said to me was, a lot of times we're always looking for a resource. Sometimes you don't need a resource, you just need a body. Come together and fellowship together for free. So I always tell people when they want to start these nonprofits to get all this money, it's not like that. And not only that though, but I just like, how many hours are you working? Like you're not going off like, oh, well, I got all this free time and this is why I'm doing it. That you don't really have a lot of free time. So tell me about your time.
You know, I have a regular job. Probably work 56 hours a week.
56 hours a week.
Like I said, there was a time when I'm going to just get to the end of that part of the nonprofit. 2 weeks before, like I told you, I was saying a prayer at work that if you can't help me with the funding or whatever, you know, I could step away and do something else you want me to do. Because I felt like I had found my purpose by doing this, you know. So 2 weeks later, before I'm about to throw this away because I'm not receiving any donations, I've applied for these grants. I see, you know, people are hooking up their friends and all this type of stuff, and they're not even doing anything, you know.
Well, you hadn't found your friends yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to find those friends that can help me out like that. But it was like I say, 2 weeks after that prayer, when I was about to quit, Good Morning America calls. And then I'm like, what do they want with me? You know, because my friend, Juan, that does the art program for the nonprofit, they had called him probably 6 months ago, and I thought they wanted to talk to him. And during that time, it was about me. So he was hiding that from me for like 6 months that I was going to be on Good Morning America. Oh. You know, so that's a good friend that you have that can hold that water
You
like
hadn't
that.
found your friend, but your friend had found you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, I get up there, I'm in this diner at next to Good Morning America, and I'm just sitting there, you know, because the guy's telling me this is going to be recorded probably tomorrow, and I'm asking all kind of questions, and I'm, you know, starting to sweat, and I'm just sitting there because the light's on me. So I say, like, how much longer? I've been there for like 2 hours or whatever. So, you know, I'm in New York, and the guy, I'm sitting on this side of the table because I don't like to have my back towards the door. That's just my mentality of somebody busting in, you know. So I'm on that side, and he tells me, well, you need to move on this side or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then I say, well, who's going to interview me? He says, Superman's son is going to interview me. So, you know, me, I get the phone and look and Google and see if he even have a son. And he realized what I was doing. So he was like, turn your phone off. and I turned it off because he said it was messing with the microphone. I'm like, okay, whatever. I know you're lying, but I turned it off. So I'm sitting there, I'm eating this fruit, and then the next thing you know, I hear Michael Strahan's voice, New York Giants, Michael Strahan, and you know his voice, and I hear Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson say Yuri Williams, and then I was just like, damn, they got me. That was like the ultimate surprise. You know, I'm thinking I'm just going to have an interview with Robin Roberts, and Robin Roberts was beautiful because, you know, I got her to come into the dressing room. I said a prayer with her because I know she's battled through cancer. She reminds me so much of my mother.
Yes.
You know, that I started crying right there while we were praying because she dresses just like my mom does. And, you know, we talked and she followed me on X, Twitter. And then that was just like every time, you know, we interact with each other, just like I'm talking to my mom sometimes, you know.
We're in the last, we're heading into this final curve. So finish this story up.
Yeah, so, you know, I got on there, you know, I got surprised by Dwayne and all those guys. I get there, and then he buys out a theater in Long Beach, 300 seats, for his new movie. So I'm able to bring all the houseless people that I work with, the children that are sick, the elderly. So it's packed with 300 people that I've impacted. And that was just like a very special feeling to have.
And I would expect that exposure on Good Morning America kind of helped your GoFundMe crowd.
Yeah, you know, it helps for a little while, and then it just disappears. So you just have
we
to.
need to get you back on there.
Yeah.
The issue is that when you're busy helping like you are, you don't tend to have the opportunity to go out and holler and scream for help.
Right.
So this is part of that holler, and I think we should continue to scream for help. And I definitely want to continue to support you getting to do what you do.
Okay.
Yes.
And once again, the 29th of March at Feldheim Library, downtown San Bernardino, you will be having a literacy program, and you'll be giving away your book.
Yes.
Yes.
You've got about 30 seconds. Tell me about your book.
Yeah, this book is about
30 seconds.
Yeah, this book is about me and my daughter, how I surprised her at her school, which actually happened, and if she finds out that it's me that was at our school, because I put the costume in the closet while she comes in there and catches, you know, me hanging up the suit, but that's when she realized her dad is a real superhero.
Very good. And I think, Dad, you don't need a uniform. You should go check on your daughters at school.
Yes, yes,
okay?
yes.
You can either let them know you're there while you're there, or let them know you were there when they get home.
Right.
But be the superhero.
Yes.
Stop by the school.
Yeah, dads, y'all come out to the library. Dads,
Yes,
come out.
yes, yes.
Our goal is to have a whole bunch of dads reading at the same time in the library.
Right.
And Jaden, I'm sure that after your dad stopped by school that day, you were suspicious that he may stop by almost any day. Am I correct? She's nodding her beautiful head.
Yes.
And more importantly, those boys at school and the teachers at school realize that Dad may stop by anytime.
Yes,
and that's
I'm
a
that
good
parent.
thing.
Right.
That's
Happy birthday again. Happy 80th to you, Mr. Wallace Allen.
This has been a happy day.
Yes.
Thank you for your wonderful co-hosting today and
Thank
bringing
you.
in this
Anytime.
wonderful guest, Mr. Yuri Williams. And I hope that we can support you to the fullest extent. March 29th, Feldheim Library downtown. I'm going to try to bring my grandbabies over
Yes,
there. That
yes.
would be a great thing.
Yes, please do.
I want to remind folks it is time for us. And we need to stand up and be all that we can be because we depend on each other, and don't be afraid to take that hug. It's a great thing. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your commitment, and God bless you. See you next week under two circumstances. One, if the good Lord's willing. Two, if the creek don't rise. God bless you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Shout out to Aquinas.
More than 2,000 miles.